Great. All right. Hello, everybody. It should be, yeah, there we go. It's so weird. It's still coming up with your image on there, even though I am, there we go. Now it's me. Okay. Okay. So let's start standing up. We're gonna do some extra Laban stuff today and work out. So starting out with breath support, feeling into our bodies. Inhale, lift and open, and exhale, just staying vertical, letting your hands drop, bending your knees. Inhale, lift, chest, heart, lungs, opening. And as you exhale, letting your body settle into the ground. So it's like you're grounding your energy, coming down to earth. Inhale, lift, open, fill up your lungs, and exhale, bending your knees, just coming down into the ground with your feet. Inhale, reaching out and up, finding some levity, and then exhale, coming down, finding gravity. In Laban, we talk about the chest and lungs as the center of levity, like lightness, and our guts as the center of gravity, like connection to the earth. So inhale, reaching up to the heavens. This time we're going to bend our knees. Exhale, take it all the way down, and just shift from side to side, shifting, letting your head-tail connection start to come online in your awareness. So from your head to your tail, coming into awareness. Maybe your heel sits bone connection. So as I'm shifting my pelvis from side to side, I am doing this big weight shift. I'm also getting all the way onto that leg. And there's this relationship between my heel and my sit bone and my kitty who wants to go for a ride. And then come back in and let's roll it up. And we'll work with some internal, external rotation. Externally rotating, opening up, and then internally rotating, closing the front of the body. External rotation in the arms and legs, internal rotation as we have this cat-cow. So in Laban, in Bartenieff, we call this rotation rotary factor. This rotation, oh, this is getting easier and easier with somebody right down there. Rotating in, rotating out, exhale in, and exhale out. And then taking our arms out, we're going to take thumbs up. So arms are right out to our sides. We're in this sort of Vitruvian man, although actually he has one foot turned out slightly. We're going to be parallel, and we're just going to circle, reaching out, letting this circle really come into our lungs. So rib cage, lungs, heart, right? We're affecting the center of levity, this upper body, as we're circling the arms. Feeling that connection in. And it's like we're hitchhiking. I'm going to point my thumbs backwards. And then I'm going to point my thumbs forwards. And then I'm going to release that, circling the shoulders. Again, rib cage, lungs, and heart, getting that mobility. Also my diaphragm, which is under here, right? So as I'm circling, all of my organs are moving, even my guts. And I want to not clamp in, right? I don't want to add extra tension. So just using the necessary amount of tension, working for more efficiency and change direction up and over the top, circling the shoulders. So these circles are happening, well, my elbows are kind of moving out to the side, but if I didn't move my elbows to the side, the circles would be really happening in the sagittal plane. I've got this up and downness and this forward backwardness. That would be sagittal. Let's change it to horizontal plane, as we have side side and forward back. Horizontal plane, forward backward and side side. And then we're going to come back into the breathing, and this is our vertical plane. Opening up into space, taking up space, and then exhaling and releasing, settling. Inhale, lift, open and expand, big breath, and exhale. Connect to the ground. Inhale, open, chest, lungs, and heart. We're going to take our arms up. Let me just move my camera so you can see this, and we're going to work with a little spiral up there. So arms are up, and then going to internally and externally rotate my hands up there. Looking up. What is the word? Flossing. This isn't really flossing, but people like to say flossing when you're getting that internal, external rotation. You're flossing, but I don't really feel like this is flossing. This is spiraling. Fingers forward, thumbs forward, letting it go all the way down, and then release. So we're doing a lot of arm into pecs, lats, deltoids, biceps, triceps, the muscles of the forearm. We want to wake all of that stuff up as a whole system that's working together in conjunction with our rib cage, lungs, and heart, right? We got our thymus up here. There's a lot of things going on up here. So let's just take our heads from side to side, head turning from side to side. As your head is turning from side to side, allow your eyes to take in the environment. So you're not reaching for the environment with your eyes. You're not focusing hard. You're soft focusing, allowing in. In Laban, we talk about direct space, which is pinpointed and focused, and then indirect space, which is really global, where I'm really taking in my surroundings. I'm connected to the space around me, but I'm not locating on one spot. They talk about this as spotlight. Oh God, what's the other one? I can't remember. There's a way that science is talking about it too, and it's like spotlight, I don't know, whole room. I can't remember what the other one is. Spiral, again, in the horizontal. And let's start to twist. Oh, let me move the camera back down. You can see my assistant, and I'm just showing you my feet. I'm twisting, and I'm letting my weight shift. I'm rotating through my spine and my hips, and I'm letting that foot turn out. So I'm getting this whole upper to lower relationship with the spiral and the weight shift, right? Shifting our weight. It's interesting, like as a dancer, if I really consider shifting my weight, it's easier for me to balance. So let's do that. Let's come down into a plie and shift onto one side, bringing the foot in front. Down, bending your knees, shifting it onto the other side. You can point or not. Down, and I'm actually crossing my midline with this shift right now. Down, cross, plie, cross. Big weight shift. If you haven't completed your weight shift, it'll be harder to balance. So you want to shift your weight and go, yeah, I'm right here. Shift your weight, I'm right here. Let's change it. Shift your weight, take it forward, just open it to the side this time. Shift your weight, cross it over, open it to the side. Shift your weight, cross it over, open it to the side, shift your weight. So it's like you're slicing across and then you're arcing out. Slice, we could say we're arcing up and then circling out. Plie, slice across, arc it out. So both of these are actually kind of arcs that we're doing. Moving, finding that peripheral edge, shifting our weight, slicing through. So we come through the center to reach across, find that peripheral edge, plie. Through the center, cross, find that edge, plie. We're also working a core distal pattern, center to edge. All right, let's do one more thing here. Again, if you have weights, let's do this with weights. So just adding in weights. I've got 2 sets of 3-pound weights. You could just use 3-pound weights, or you could not use any weights. And I think I need to move my whole setup backwards so that you can get all of me in the frame. Okay, so there are cats, there's a physio ball over there, everything's kind of rolling around the room, becoming very exciting for everybody. So we're going to stay parallel. Actually, we'll go with our legs together, and we're going to plie, stretch, push up, and come down. Plie, stretch, push up, and come down. So we're really working in the vertical dimension with just a little bit of sagittal movement as our arms are coming forward and up. So a dimension has like a single dimension. It's just up and down, 2 directions. If we go planar, it has 2 dimensions. All right, so that was that. We're going to turn out our feet. You're going to engage your butt a little. This is a little ballet-like. Engage your core just slightly so you're not all collapsed, and then knees over your toes. Squeeze your inner thighs together as you come down. Knees over your toes. Press up, inner thighs squeeze. Glutes are engaged. Plie, stretch, press up, come down. Plie, stretch, press up, come down. We're going to come into parallel. Plie, stretch, press it up, coming down. Plie, stretch, pressing up, coming down. Plie, stretch, pushing. We're pushing, 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 and then slowly letting it release down. Turning out your feet again. So a small second position. Knees over the toes. Plie. So don't force your turn out here. Just go where your knees can easily go over your toes. Plie, stretch, press up. Inner thighs coming together as we lower. That's going to help support the movement from the inner line of our body. Inner thighs are coming together, our quads are engaged. Plie, stretch, press up. Inner thighs help control the descent. Plie, stretch, up. Inner thighs. 2 more. Plie, stretch, up. I'm kind of randomly doing between 4 and 6 in each position. Open it out to parallel. Take a couple of big deep breaths. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your center of gravity, center of levity working together. Plie, stretch, press it up, down, plie, stretch, press it up, down, plie, stretch, press it up, down, plie, stretch. Collarbones very wide, finding your verticality and riding up through that vertical line. Good, and relax. We're gonna stick out our butts. So it's gonna be a fly. I'm gonna arch my back. So kind of a cat-cow, head-tail connection, arching. Knees are wide, over the toes, parallel. Going 1, flies. 2, so this is more exercisey. 3, great for your health. 4, your bone health, bone density. I'm totally not counting anymore. Let's start. 5 more. 4, 3, 2, last one, and come up. Let's do one more here. You're going to stick out your butt, chest forward. So you're like a little peacock popping around. Get your big tail out behind you. Hands on your hips. We're going to reach back to touch the tail and then bring it back to the hips. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Use your breath. Feel that the levity in the lungs. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and come in. Circle your shoulders, circling one and then the other. So I'm shifting my weight. I'm doing a shoulder circle. I can make it bigger and take my elbow into it so I get this mid-limb initiation. Elbow going, mid-limb to proximal joint. Proximal joint is my shoulder. Elbow, shoulder, elbow, shoulder. Good. Let's go forward with that. Let's just start with the shoulders. So that's the proximal joint, shoulder circling forward. Got a little weight shift going on. Not an entire weight shift, but a fair amount. And then we're going to go elbow, 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 elbow. So I'm really moving. I'm not stabilizing my core. I'm moving my core. There are muscles in there that are working to stabilize me, but not that much. What's working? A little bit in my abs, but mostly just to help the movement happen, not to stabilize or lock it down. Let's do one more thing. We're going to take our arms up facing down, flip them over, open them out, bring them in, flip and lower, up, flip, open, close, in, down, up, flip, spiral out. Feel what happens in your chest and lungs as you're doing this. I'm going to say don't try to stabilize it so that it doesn't move at all in your ribs and lungs. Let them move out a little bit. Let them get some mobility. So that opening is happening through the whole front of your body here. 2 more, up, rotate, open, closed, in, down. Last one, up, rotate, open, close, in, down. And let's just tilt our head away. And we're not really going to fight it against it. We're just going to get this side tilt. I could push with that hand, but I don't really want to right now. So if you felt like, oh, I'm really tight in my neck, you could try pushing, but I feel like my neck is just fine. So I just want to let it open up by the natural pull of my arms with the weight. I'm not giving it more. Head side to side. Right, so we did our head turning this way. Now we're doing our head side to side. And again, I'm finding head-tail connection. And head-tail connection is the relationship of your cranium through your spine, through your spinal cord to your tailbone. And maybe even beyond, right? We could imagine that we have a big bushy tail. Sometimes if we think that, we have more access to moving our little teeny bone tail. All right, let's put the weights down. And, oh, it looks like my little cat has a coughing fit there. Poor guy. And then coming back in. We're going to come down. Actually, we're going to shake the cat hair off the mat and then come down to this position. Not quite downward dog, feet are wide. You can start with your tail up to the ceiling, hands are at the edges of my mat. Then I'm going to bend and I'm just going to circle around from limb to limb. And I'm getting this push pattern from my arms and my legs with this upper versus lower and a side. So I'm circling around. And then change direction, feeling the connection of your arms into your back, your legs into your pelvis, maybe even into your spine. So our psoas muscle, I've talked about this before, I'm going to relax for a second, come down. I'm going to talk about it really again. Connects to, so our femur head is like this bone coming up here, big bone. There's a greater trochanter knob and a lesser trochanter knob in there. Our psoas is connected into that lesser trochanter. That is one way of its hip flexing. Sometimes people think their psoas is right here on the front. It is not. It's deep inside your body. And then it connects in towards your spinal cord, towards your vertebrae. So just bearing that in mind. And it connects all the way up to your 12th thoracic, which is about here, end of your ribs, sort of. Okay, let's come back down to that position. And we're going to bring the feet closer together. Lift your heels high, scoop your belly in, round your spine, roll it forward, take it into a plank. And then drop your head, push with your arms, roll it up to the ceiling, and then lower your heels. In Laban, we call this successive movement, where we're moving through the joint, joint by joint. Dropping your head, pushing with your arms, rolling it up to the ceiling, lower. We could also talk about this as being a kinetic chain of movement, where from here it's going from my feet, they push up, it comes to my pelvis, it moves through my torso, through my ribs, and then it comes into my head. The other direction, my head drops, I push with my arms, I scoop my belly up, roll it up to the ceiling with my tail, opening, and then lowering the heels. So the feet push, initiating the movement. It rolls through my pelvis, through my torso, through my spine, through my ribs, through my head and neck and head, and then head drops. Push, roll it up to the ceiling. Reach it at the top. Lower your heels. One more time. Heels lift high, hollow, round your spine. Scoop the belly in. Take it forward. Keep going forward all the way until you come into an up dog. I'm going to put my knees down for a second and then come over the tops of my feet, looking up, breathing, pushing the floor away. And then I'm going to take it back. Bent knees. Can I do my child's pose? Not quite yet. You can child's pose for a second there. Take some breath. And we're going to come up, after you've done your child's pose, into a tabletop. In the tabletop, let's go over one hand and just see if you can push down through both hands. And then change that out, go over the other hand, see if you can push down through both hands. Switch again, push down through the back of this hand, and switch one more time. Feel the relationship up into the shoulder girdle, up into your scapula, into your collarbones, into your heart and lungs. Ha! And then let's come down to our forearms, taking a really free flow head tail, maybe a cat cow. Actually, let's add this. Let's do cat cow. We're going to, in the arch, we're going to flip our hands so our palms are up and push down into the back of your arm. And then in the curl, you're going to push down to your hands and round your spine. Hands flip over, palms up. Really actively push down, open, flip the hands, and curl. We can also add the feet. So we're going to curl the toes under in the arch, push down, and then uncurl and push down. Toes and hands, and then again. Good. And let's take that into a forearm plank. So in our forearm plank, we're going to push forward and backward for a minute, or less than a minute. And then we're going to walk it. So you're going to take one foot, cross it under, flip that onto your side, take the other hand up, bring it back, come down. One foot crosses under, the hand goes up, the other foot walks forward, the foot comes back, foot comes back. Cross under, step, bring it back, bring it back. Cross under, step, bring it back, cross under. So we're getting the side body involved in a very three-dimensional way because we're moving through our relationship with gravity, right? Here, the side body gets to pull down. Here, the front body pulls down. Side body gets the action. Front body gets the action. Side, front. Last one. And calm down. Relax. Yes, I think I can actually get into my child's pose. Finally, breathing into it. Breathe like you're a bubble. So big shape flow support. Breathing forward and backward, also known as bulging and hollowing in Laban speak. Breathing side-side, widening and narrowing. Breathing through the length of your spine, lengthening and shortening. And the whole body is growing and shrinking with the breath. Feeling that center of levity and letting the push come down into the center of gravity. So as we breathe big, we're letting our diaphragm really descend down, pushing our organs, giving us that extra bit of energy in our body. And then come up and let's flip over onto our backs. So we're going to start right away with a contralateral pattern. So cross body movement, which is going to be elbow to knee, just one leg in, one leg out, crossing over. Exhale. If it's possible to touch it, touch your elbow to your knee. Oh, hold on. There's a garbage bag out here and there's a cat trying to get into it. Hey, and he's even succeeding. I didn't see that garbage bag was even here. I usually take it all the way to the trash, but other people in the house don't. And this was the cat, Lord Gaylord, who clearly, by his volume, does not need to eat any garbage. Little stinker. All right, so let's come back and change this. We're going to have our legs up to the ceiling. Let's go pointed on top. And then you're going to flex as you reach down and out. Point to the ceiling, reach it out. Point, reach it out. If you want to come further past the ceiling, you can. If you have, like I could go straight up and try and be in that 90-degree angle where I can come past it. Really listen to your own body. Trying to go entirely long on top. So if your knees aren't quite straight, maybe you have to lower it down a little bit there. It's going to make you work a little harder in your core if you're here doing it. Maybe. So listen in to your own body. And here's the pea pod. Everyone's making an appearance today. Oh, she sees her toy. Last one. And relax. Drop it down. Take a minute to free up your body. Free up the flow in your body. So if your muscles are engaged and constricting or contracted, let that go. Let that soften. You could take a big yawn. You could relax your tongue, relax your throat. Also find some freedom in your whole head-tail connection. So finding some fluidity and some flow. So we're coming back to that sort of fluid state of support where we're not gripping, where we're starting to notice the difference at least between, I am more relaxed and have some freedom, or I'm holding it in, I'm holding it together, right? We want to come back into that, or at least start noticing that pattern of when we can let go of some stuff. Another great thing to do is the shake out, and you can make some noise. I think when I was in the school, when I was studying Laban movement analysis, we used to shake out and say no, and shake out and say yes, and shake out and just yell. And then I would have my people at the gym do it a lot. And usually like by the third or fourth time, everyone's laughing. And so if you can come to that place where you're enjoying yourself and not taking it too seriously, that's a great place to be. Let's take our hands on our knees and circle, lubricating up our hip sockets. So we have a fluid in our joints called synovial fluid. It's sort of like the WD-40 which is a greasy thing that we use to grease up stuck stuff. It's like the WD-40 of the joints. Change direction, other way. Yeah, so anytime we're making these kind of circles, we are greasing up that hip socket. A happy, greasy hip socket is less likely to be injured, right? That fluid supports the joint, it supports your mobility, and it's a use it or lose it fluid. So we can stimulate the production of it just by moving, by creating these circles and just inviting our body to like get softer, greasier. I don't mean less strong. When I say softer, I mean more pliant and agile. Dropping your knees from side to side, loose and easy. Let this massage through your back. So this is a very different than a Bartenieff knee drop. This is a Laura knee drop because I like to see, like a lot of people hold a lot of tension in their inner thighs. And I'm going to say this, particularly people who have had sexual abuse, there tends to be a lot of need to close in. So it's not that I want people to be uncomfortable, but just to free up some of that holding that's been in there just by letting it open and close in a very safe way. If it doesn't feel safe, then move them together. So that's always an option. You can always do it your way. But if it feels okay and you feel safe enough, try to let your inner thighs really release through this space. So you're releasing the muscles on the inside while you're also massaging out your butt and your hips just by rolling across it. The harder the surface you work on, the more it's going to affect the tissue in your body. So if you are not accustomed to being on the floor and it feels like you need a lot of padding, then by all means use all that padding. But if you can get used to sort of yielding into the floor and using less padding, it's going to work more deeply into your fascia. All right, let's take it onto our sides. Just give yourself a minute of dropping into gravity, letting go. So you don't have to hold anything up. It's like you're making a little side imprint on the floor, just for a couple of breaths. Softening and melting. Yeah, when I'm here, I can feel how much tension my neck and shoulders hold because sometimes it's hard for my head to drop down. And I also think about really just melting the bottom shoulder so I can nestle into the floor, allowing gravity to hold me on the planet. And then I'm going to slowly roll across by opening half of my body and then closing the other half to get to the other side. And then I'm going to take a couple of breaths to nestle into this side. So you can see I could be here, really lifted away from the floor, or I can let myself sink. Let the fluid in my body cool downward and melt. Yes, there is a cat playing with a toy right here. And then we're going to open until you roll onto your back and close, close, close. So I'm opening and closing in the least effort possible. Just letting one half of my body, this upper half, this is a body half homolateral movement. Side versus side, one side versus the other of opening and closing. Just going back and forth with that a couple of times. As I'm rolling across my back, I'm massaging out the tissue in my back. We have a big bandy fascia that's coming down into our sacrum, into our tail, that's helping support our spine, right? And so I'm letting that massage out. If you want to see his toy, it's a little green spring. Anyway, let's open it up. Let's make it more active. So we're going to push the floor away, open into a unfolding out onto our side. I think I need to relocate so I don't kick the plants. Opening, 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 closing, closing, closing. Opening, 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 closing, closing, closing. Using that opening and closing. And you can, this time, instead of just opening, you can also push off the floor with the bottom half. So I can push to explode out, bringing it back in. Right, so this is kind of a core-distal relationship, out to the edges and then coming back in, out to the edges and coming back in. Core, center, distal, edges. Peripheral movement around my body, central movement coming from my body. Central movement, peripheral movement, right? Central coming from the center out. Then I'm going to make a circle. So let's do that. Actually, this is an interesting way of doing those leg circles also. So we're going to point We can point up to the sky and then open it out, circle out, 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 and down, and then fold it back in. The other leg is going to point up, circle out, 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 and then fold back in. Up. If you're popping and clicking, make this smaller. It doesn't have to be big. Feeling how, as you move through the space, the relationship of your leg into your body is expressing. This is a particularly exciting morning for the cats. Up, out, down, in. Central, peripheral, and in. And we could also say, if we're talking about shape, this is directional shape. This is spoke-like and arc-like. Spoke-like, I'm spoking out, and I'm arcing. Right here I could do it with my hands. Spoking, arcing. Spoking, arcing. All right, let's do some bridges. So I'm coming back onto my mat. We're going to press up. Let's do bridges with heel lifts. So up to tippy toes and then lower your heels. If you want to, you can you can enlace your fingers, walk your shoulders closer together, walk your feet in and inhale, heels off the floor, exhale, lower. So I'm pushing with the whole back of my body, back of my hamstrings, my calves, my back body, my arms can push too. Inhale up, exhale down. Try to keep your pelvis high as the heels lower. So we're opening the front of the body, up, down. Inhale, exhale. Breath support, exhale. Core support with the idea that the breath and the organs are working together. So the core support doesn't mean I squeeze everything in as hard as I can. That is not necessarily supportive. Sometimes it is, but a lot of times we just want to have fluidity. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Let's go further. We're going to open the hands up again, open them out to the sides. Then we're going to open the knees wide and then knees touch. Knees open wide, roll to the outer edge of your foot, roll in. So you're making a weight shift by rolling across your foot and bringing it in. The shifting your weight through your foot as the knees open, shifting it through your foot as the knees close. It may be more subtle weight shift from the inner edge of the foot to the outer edge of the foot. I'm really feeling my butt. I can feel my hamstrings, back body working a little. And let's take it down slowly to the floor, legs and arms up. Give them a shake. Let all that tissue soften. And then bend your knees and take a happy baby and let yourself wiggle around in your happy baby. Breathing into it. And I'm going to let my butt peel off the floor here. I'm kind of rocking forward, backward because my lower back is a little stiff, sore today, so I need a little more massaging through there. So I'm going forward, backward. You could stay in your baby, do whatever you want. This rolling thing is something that my body needs more of. But if it doesn't feel good to you, don't do it. And then we're going to come up, hands behind our pelvis. And you're going to inhale, press up, and exhale. Take it back. If you can take your butt back behind your heels, then go for that. Inhale up, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Thinking of the track so this is really sagittal movement, right? We're in the wheel plane. Thinking of the track of the hips, the knees, the ankles, and the toes traveling along two parallel lines. And my mat is not even in here. I don't know why I do it like that, but let me even it out so I feel like I'm tracking. There we go. Totally parallel, and it looks like it to you guys. Up and down. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. I could also do it and stay above the floor. When it keeps moving, like when I keep the swing happening, going back and forth, it's a lot easier to feel my tracking. If I keep stopping every time, I'm not sensing it as much. I can feel the fluidity of the flow when I keep it moving. It might be different for you. Let's take it back down. We're going to go for a big hamstring stretch. So let's start with the feet on the floor. Take one leg up. We're going to do a quad thing and then a hamstring stretch. Hands behind your hamstring. If it's lower, that's fine. If you need to use something else, if your legs are a little more tight and you need to use something else, that's fine too. We want to just make sure that we're coming to a fully straight leg engaged quad every time we come up. So you're going to fold it in, all the way straight and engaged, flex, point. Fold it in, reach, flex, point, fold it in, reach, flex, point, fold, reach, flex, point, fold, reach, flex, point, fold, reach, flex, point. That was a cool move. Reach, flex, point, fold, reach, flex, point, fold, reach, flex, point. Last one, fold and reach and flex. Now we're going to grab with our toes and then we're going to wing. So it's like we're making a little fist, turning in, winging out. I think I'm going to turn in and out with my leg as well. So it's all the stuff moving together. In and out. In and out. In and out. In and out. So my toes are spreading in the open and then they're grabbing and in. Out, in, out. And I'm trying to reach through my whole leg. Out, in, out. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Let it go. Let's do the other leg before we do the hamstring stretch. Actually, I feel like I need a quad stretch. So let's just skip that. Come to quad stretch, then we'll do the other side. So taking your heel towards your butt, taking your leg back. Now, I can take my heel closer to my butt or I can push further back with my leg. So either heel to butt, knee back, or some combination. Like if you don't have access to really bringing your heel into your butt, you may be further back. Maybe you can just try to get your knee further away from you. That is another option. All of these things are going to change the stretch. Then I'm going to just slightly turn in and turn out with my leg. So I'm shifting the stretch through the different sections of my quad. Quadricep, 4. There are 4 sections. What is it? Semimembranosus, semitendinosus, and biceps brachii. That might actually be your hamstring. It is. It's that's hilarious. That's your hamstring I just told you about, not your quad. What are they? Rectus femoris. I can't remember right now. Come onto your back. Look it up. That's what we have the Google A for. So I will say that sometimes I misspeak and sometimes I say the wrong words and sometimes I say the wrong things. That is called being alive. And there is no extra editing or shifting or changing of whatever happened in class. So you might go, oh my God, she's totally wrong. I know that. And you might be right. So just know that that happens and let that happen. That's what it is. I feel like the more present I am in what I'm doing, the less access I have to every bit of facts here and there. Up, flex, point. Fold it in, reach, flex, point. Fold, extend, flex, point, fold. Reach it out. Try to stay present with yourself. Fold, extend, flex, point, fold. All the way straight, engage the quad, flex, point, fold, reach, flex, point, fold, reach, flex, point, fold, reach, flex, point, fold, reach, flex, point. I'm going to have to look it up. Reach because it's bugging me. Point, fold, and reach, and flex, and point. Flex your foot. You're going to turn in. Let's do foot and hand, and then open and spread. Making a fist, rotating in, spreading your toes, externally rotating, and letting your foot go even further on this, right? We're not bearing weight on it, so it should be safe to really go out. In and out. In and out. Keep going in and out. This is the nerdy world we live in. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Good, and relax. Well, I tell you, rectus femoris, vastus lateralis, vastus medialis, and vastus intermedius, right? So vastus lateralis is the one on the outside, vastus medialis, the one on the inside, vastus medius in the middle, and the rectus fem, I think, goes across. So that's good to know. I feel like, when I know an embodiment teacher who's like, do we really need to know anatomy, and I'm like, how can we not? I feel like it's so important. If people knew about what was going on in their body and that it's living tissue, right? It's not dead. Like all of our models for what is going on inside are usually photos, maybe bones, they may be plastic, they may be real, but inside we have much more diversity. I mean, we all have the same basic stuff, but it could be shaped quite differently from person to person. Not should be, could be. It is often shaped very differently. So, living inside our bodies, bones that are alive do not look like a chicken bone that's dead, right? They're different. Or like I've got bones back there from a deer. It doesn't look like something that's all bleached out from the sun. It looks like, it's living. There's fluid inside. And when things are living inside our body, there's tremendous capacity for change, right? We can heal things. We can work with things. There's fluid informing us. There's gravity. There's all these wonderful things that support us. There's our breath, our imagination's huge. Took me like 20 minutes to take that sip of water. Now we're going to go back down and stretch that quad. So taking it down onto your side, stretch this other quad, take it back. Again, you can work with the knee going further behind you or heel really into your butt or both of those. So you could be like small micro movements with this just to see and feel. I feel like you shouldn't just go into something and just sit there with no awareness. Go in and feel into it. What is going on? What do I feel? What do I notice? What if I change it slightly? What do I notice now? And then you can do the internal and external rotation from the hip socket. We still haven't gotten to our hamstring stretch, but we will. Good. And then come in. Pick up your butt for a second. Give it a little shake. Let your spine realign itself, and then come down. I'm just going to fix this. And we are going to take our leg. I'm taking my right leg. I'm going to draw it in. And if you are tighter, you're going to leave the left leg bent. If you're looser, you can straighten out the left leg. So I'm going to flex my knee and ankle on the inhale. On the exhale, I'm going to extend the leg, point my toes, draw my leg in towards me, and imagine the muscle fibers opening up more. The fascia and the muscle fibers being spacious, expansive, and pliant. If you're telling yourself, I'm so tight, you're definitely going to stay that way. So tell yourself, I'm letting go, I'm opening up. Flex and open. Never stretch yourself beyond, like on a range of intensity of 1 to 10, never go beyond a 7, right? Even going beyond a 6 is sketchy. But that's all relative. It's all what you feel in your body. But listen in. Be like, is this too much? Right? I'm actually staying well within my zone. Inhale as you flex. Exhale. Extend the leg, point the toes, reach from the inside to the outside. Inhale. Exhale. Opening, opening, opening. 2 more. Yeah, so for me, I got to take it out to the side a little bit once I get up here to go higher, which is a little bit of external rotation in the hip socket, and then just opening. Then we're going to switch that to crossing your midline and then opening out to the side. So now we can talk about the semimembranosus, semitendinosus, and the bicep brachii, the 3 sections of your hamstring. Opening, 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 and biceps brachii. It breaks off into two pieces and attaches at different sections. So it's worth looking these things up, feeling into, what am I feeling? And then we're going to release it. Just shake it out for a second. Let your body readjust. Let everything get soft and easy. No stress. And then we're going to spiral across. Head in one direction, knee in the other. I can take my hand and make this go even, like I can use my 2 hands against each other to take it a little bit deeper by just grabbing my ribs and giving a little pull. If you want to. Sometimes you don't need to stretch deeper, right? But that spiraling is really good for the lymph inside of our back body. So there's lymph nodes that live inside and in front of our rib cage, right? In front of they're not right on the surface on the skin, they're underneath. So when we spiral and twist, we stimulate the movement of that lymph. All right, second leg. This bottom knee is either bent or straight. Flex it in, extend and point. Inhale, exhale, use your breath. Inhale, exhale. Tell yourself, I'm opening up. I'm letting go. It doesn't mean you have to be hypermobile, which I clearly am, right? We don't necessarily need this. If you are not, but being a little bit more open, having mobility wherever you are can be a great thing. Plus, we're moving all that tissue, right? So as we move that tissue, we're hydrating, we're shifting, we're renegotiating the inner space in our body, and we're also stimulating the movement of the lymph. And if there's anything like kind of blocked in our body, we're giving it some easy opportunities to shift around and unblock, to release. Right, a couple more times. And then we're going to cross and open. Crossing and opening. Sliding across, opening it out. Crossing it over, opening it up, crossing it over, opening. You can flex or point. So if I flex, I'm going to lengthen the back of this train of fascia more. If I point, I'm going to be working to keep this quad engaged and my knee straight. Like if I relax it, there it is. Flex, that train of fascia of the back leg is going to open up. Sole of the foot through the back of my heel, through the back of my leg. Although this idea like of anatomy trains, or sorry, I'm not, that's Tom Meyer's work, and I have studied it. It's good stuff. But it can be a little mechanistic, in my opinion. And I like to think of the body a little bit more like snowdrifts, like a little more fluid, a little more curvilinear. So when, like, if I think of a train or a train track, that's like two rails, right? But the tissue in the back of my body is moving in these three-dimensional ways. And the actual tissue itself is three-dimensional. All right, let's pick up our butts, give it a little shake, 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 shake. See if you can shake your butt and your belly. Let it go. Ha, jiggle, 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 jiggle. And then release, and let's roll back and forth. And we're going to come all the way up. I think I'm going for kind of a long time today. Yeah, so let's stand up. Hair is looking good. And we're going to just do a scale of movement, like a Laban scale. So we'll start, this is my left hand, but it's probably your right. Oh, let's start on your left. Let's do it with my right. We're going to go up and down in the vertical, just finding the vertical dimension, reaching high and reaching low, vertical dimension. So this we're working in Laban's concept of space, but we can all agree that this is the vertical dimension. Place high, place low. Other side, same thing. Place high, tippy toes, place low, down to the ground, right? Levity going up, gravity going down, right? We want to get lighter, go up. You want to get more gravitas, go down. Last one. Good. Yeah, there's a quote, I can't remember who said it. It was somebody in, I think it's a chiropractor. And he said, you want to move towards enlightenment, lighten up, right? That's a good helper. So right hand and right leg, we're going to cross. Left hand and left leg are counterbalances, opening out. So we've got the tension and the counter tension working together, right? Crossing over, opening out. I'm trying to keep my hip bones, my ASIS, these two front points of my bones, pointing front. Because if I turn, then I've shifted where front is, and I'm not really going in the horizontal dimension. Switch it to the other side, crossing over, opening out. Side across, side open. Just feeling like we're closing the front of our body, we're coming in, and we're opening and expanding out. Just feeling what that difference is for you. How does it feel to cross over? How does it feel to open out? Do I need more of this? Do I need more of this? Do I need to take up some space? Horizontal dimension. So we're going to go to sagittal, backwards and forwards, taking your hand right behind you. Again, trying to keep the hip bones facing front and then straight in front of you. Back point, counter tension here, and a front point. Back middle and forward middle. Let's switch it to the other side. Backward middle, forward middle. Backward middle, forward middle. Backward middle, forward middle. So this is Laban's most basic scale of movement called the dimensional cross of axes. And it's AXES, which is the plural of axis, AXIS, right? So the dimensions, the crossing here in the center of axes. All right, let's do it all together. So we're going to go up, down in the vertical, crossing over, opening out in the horizontal, taking it backwards and forwards in the sagittal, changing it to the other arm, up, down, still the vertical, crossing over, opening it wide, horizontal, backwards and forwards, sagittal, up, down, vertical dimension, side across, side open, horizontal dimension, backwards and forwards, sagittal dimension, same thing. The 6 points, up, down. I think that in Strozzi, this is dignity. I can't remember what the rest of them are right now in Strozzi technique because I haven't studied it. I've just learned it from other people. Up, down, side across, side open, backwards, and forwards. Good. So just shake it out. So that's great to help balance your body, right? We're working in these different ways evenly with both sides of our body. Inhale, stretch it up, breath support. Exhale, bend your knees, soften your spine. Let your head really drop down. Just stay down there. Shake your head no, nod yes. Feel the whole head-tail relationship as you let your head go. Let the shoulders relax. Free flow in the upper body. Just let it go. Shake it out. A lot of times people have a hard time letting go of their head. Usually they're still holding it up, looking at the floor. Let it go. Then bend your knees, roll it all the way up. And just for balance, let's just take a twist. Side, side. Again, letting yourself come into the space around you, or letting the space around you come into your eyes. All right, I'm going to close it out because I think that I might be teaching another class. I've got a bunch of things coming in on my phone. I'm like, uh-oh, am I missing somewhere? So if you have watched this, please like and subscribe. Consider supporting me on Patreon or buy me a coffee.